Your life is your responsibility. It is the most fundamental truth, yet the hardest to accept because it requires courage. We live in a world where it feels easier to point fingers, to wait for someone else to lift us when we fall, or to hope that someone will come and fix the pieces of our broken lives. But here's the reality. No one else can carry your pain the way you carry it. No one else can dream your dreams for you, and no one else can walk your journey. The moment you understand that your life is yours alone, you will stop waiting, you will stop blaming, and you will stop depending. The truth is, people will come and go. They might promise to stay, they might even love you deeply, but life has its way of separating us from the hands we once thought would always be there to hold us. And if your entire existence depends on those hands, then what happens when they are no longer there? You collapse, you fall into despair, you lose yourself. That is why responsibility is not a burden, it is a gift. It is the realization that no matter who leaves, no matter who forgets you, you still have yourself. You still have the power to shape your tomorrow. Taking responsibility does not mean you have to do everything alone, but it does mean that you stop blaming others for where you are. It means you stop expecting people to fix what is broken inside you, because no one can heal your wounds better than you. No one can teach you the lesson you refuse to learn, and no one can live your destiny in your place. The more you wait for others, the more you postpone your own growth. Life keeps moving forward whether you rise or not, and the longer you lean on others to move for you, the further you get left behind. There will be days when you will feel weak, when you will wish someone could just carry the weight for you. But in those moments, remind yourself that you were never created to be helpless. You were created with a spirit that is unbreakable, with resilience that awakens only when you take ownership of your life. When you start saying, "This is my responsibility, this is my life," something shifts inside you. You no longer wait for external validation. You no longer depend on someone else's strength, because you discover that your own is enough. The freedom that comes with responsibility is unmatched. When you own your choices, your failures, and your victories, you no longer live as a victim of circumstance. You become the author of your own story, and that story, no matter how painful its chapters may be, will be yours to write, yours to tell, and yours to live fully. Your life is your responsibility. The sooner you embrace it, the sooner you will rise. You are far stronger than you believe, but most of the time you do not see it because you are busy leaning on others to remind you. When we depend on people for constant approval, for comfort, for strength, we unknowingly silence our own power. We convince ourselves that without their support we will collapse, but that is an illusion. The truth is, life has already proven to you many times that you can survive storms you once thought would destroy you. Think about it. The nights you cried and thought morning would never come, yet here you are. The moments you thought you would break into pieces, yet you carried on. If you are still standing after everything life has thrown at you, doesn't that mean there is something unshakable inside you? Strength is not always about big gestures or loud victories. Sometimes it is found in the quiet decision to get out of bed when your heart feels heavy. Sometimes it is in the small act of saying no when you have always said yes just to please others. Sometimes it is in forgiving yourself when you thought you never could. That strength has always been yours, but when you depend on others too much, you stop noticing it. You start to believe you are fragile, incapable, incomplete without someone else's hand holding yours. But the truth is, the moment you stop searching for strength outside of yourself, you begin to see how much courage you already have. There is nothing wrong with accepting help, but there is everything wrong with believing you cannot stand without it. People will disappoint you, not because they are cruel, but because they are human. They have their own battles, their own wounds, their own limits. If you keep expecting them to hold you up every time you fall, you will not only drain them, but you will also rob yourself of the chance to grow. Independence is not about arrogance or isolation. It is about discovering the reservoir of resilience that lies within you. Pain will come, fear will come, and doubt will whisper in your ear that you cannot go on without someone else's support. But pain is temporary, fear is a liar, and doubt is nothing more than a shadow. When you walk through those moments on your own, when you face them with your own strength, you begin to see that you are not as weak as you once thought. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not fragile. You are powerful in ways you haven't even begun to imagine. You are stronger than your circumstances, stronger than your heartbreaks, stronger than your mistakes. But that truth will only reveal itself when you stop depending on others to prove it to you. The day you begin to lean on yourself, to believe in your own strength, is the day you finally discover who you are meant to be. Failure and pain are two words we often run from, and yet they are the very reasons many of us become dependent on others. We seek people to shield us from falling, to protect us from hurting, because deep down we are terrified of what will happen if we face these storms alone. But the truth is, failure is not your enemy and pain is not your punishment. They are both teachers shaping you into someone far stronger, wiser, and more resilient than comfort ever could. If you continue to depend on others to catch you every time you stumble, you will never learn how to rise on your own. You will never know the taste of your own strength. Redefining failure means understanding that it is not the end of your journey, but part of the path. Every person who has ever succeeded, who has ever built something meaningful, has failed repeatedly. Their difference is not that they avoided failure, but that they chose to face it without surrendering. When you depend on others to make your choices, to carry your risks, you rob yourself of that growth. You hand over your power because you are afraid of being broken, but you must realize being broken is not the end of you. Sometimes it is the beginning. Pain is the same. We are taught to avoid it, to cover it up, or to escape it through people. But pain is not there to destroy you. It is there to carve depth into your soul. Without it, you would never know the joy of healing, the sweetness of peace, or the beauty of resilience. Depending on others to numb, your pain might bring you temporary relief, but it will never bring you true healing. Healing begins when you face the pain yourself, when you let it teach you what it came to teach. That could be patience, humility, compassion, or strength, but you will never receive the lesson if you keep running from it. When you redefine failure and pain, you also redefine independence. You begin to see that you don't need someone to shield you from life. You need the courage to step into it. Yes, you will fall. Yes, you will hurt. But each time you rise, you will be less afraid of the next fall, and each time you heal, you will carry a deeper understanding of yourself. This is how you stop depending on others, not by avoiding the hardships, but by embracing them as part of your becoming. So the next time failure greets you, don't hide behind someone else. Face it. The next time pain knocks on your door, don't wait for someone to rescue you. Open it, because these experiences, as harsh as they feel, are gifts in disguise. They are reminders that you are alive, that you are capable of more than you think, and that your journey is yours alone to walk. Redefine failure, redefine pain, and you will redefine yourself. Trusting yourself is one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make, yet it is also one of the hardest. From a young age, we are conditioned to look outward for approval, to measure our worth based on what others think of us, and to seek advice before we even dare to hear our own inner voice. Slowly, without realizing it, we begin to depend on others to make even the simplest choices for us. We wait for someone else to validate us, to confirm that our dreams are possible, to assure us that our decisions are right. But here is the truth. If you keep depending on others to guide your every step, you will never learn to walk with confidence on your own path. Self-trust is the foundation of independence, and without it, you will always remain a prisoner of doubt. Building self-trust is not about being right all the time. It is about being willing to take responsibility for the choices you make. Yes, you will make mistakes. Yes, you will face moments when you look back and wonder if you should have chosen differently. But those mistakes are not proof of your weakness. They are proof of your courage. You dared to decide, you dared to act, and that is how growth begins. Depending on others to always decide for you might feel safer, but safety is not the same as freedom. True freedom is found when you trust yourself enough to take risks, even if they lead to failure, because you know you will learn and rise again. The inner voice we all carry is wiser than we give it credit for. It whispers in moments of doubt, it nudges us when something feels wrong, and it urges us forward when something feels right. Yet, so often, we silence it in fear of disappointing others or being judged. We let outside noise drown the quiet truth within us. The result is a life built on borrowed opinions, on second-hand dreams, on choices that belong to everyone else but us. Trusting yourself means daring to listen to that inner voice, even when it goes against the crowd, even when no one else understands. Because that voice is not random. It is the essence of who you are. Of course, trusting yourself does not mean you reject advice or close your ears to wisdom. It means you learn to filter it through your own instincts. You can listen, you can learn, but in the end, the decision must belong to you. That is how you build confidence, not by following directions blindly, but by walking your own road step by step, learning with every turn. And the more you practice trusting yourself, the stronger that trust becomes. Stop depending on others to believe in you. Believe in yourself. Stop waiting for someone else to say you are ready. Tell yourself you are, because the truth is, no one knows your journey better than you. No one feels your heartbeat, your passion, your calling the way you do. Trust yourself, and even if the world doubts you, you will never feel lost. Gratitude is beautiful, but dependency is dangerous. There is a delicate difference between the two that many of us confuse. Being grateful means you acknowledge and appreciate the presence of people in your life, the kindness they show, the help they extend. Dependency, on the other hand, means your very sense of stability collapses the moment those people are gone. And the truth is, people will not always stay. Life will separate you from the ones you love, sometimes by distance, sometimes by choice, sometimes by fate. If your entire existence is tied to them, then their absence will feel like the end of your world. That is why you must learn to carry gratitude in your heart, without turning it into a crutch you cannot walk without. We often say, "I cannot live without this person," but that statement is a lie we tell ourselves because of fear. You can live, you can survive, you can even thrive. The proof is in your own past. There were people you once thought you could never move on from, yet here you are, breathing, moving, and becoming stronger. That is because your life has always belonged to you. The people who walk beside you are companions, not carriers of your soul. They are blessings, but they are not your foundation. When you confuse the two, you give away your power. You make your happiness conditional, fragile, and dependent on something you cannot control. Gratitude means you smile when people help you. You appreciate their love, and you acknowledge their sacrifices. But at the same time, you understand that you must be whole without them. If they leave tomorrow, gratitude will let you say, "Thank you for what you gave me." Instead of collapsing with bitterness or despair, gratitude is strength, dependency is weakness. One empowers you, the other chains you. It is natural to feel supported by others, but it is dangerous to build your identity around them. Imagine a house built on sand. It may look strong for a moment, but the first wave will wash it away. That is how dependency works. The moment the person you leaned on steps away, you crumble. But when you stand on your own, when you take responsibility for your life, relationships become richer. You no longer demand that people carry you, you walk beside them. You no longer suffocate them with expectations, you set them free to be who they are. The irony is that when you stop depending, you actually love more deeply. Because love that is born from need is fragile, but love that is born from freedom is unshakable. When you don't depend on others for your happiness, you stop fearing their absence. You begin to enjoy their presence with gratitude, not with desperation. So be thankful, but do not chain yourself. Appreciate people, but do not hand them your soul. Let them be a part of your life, not the reason you exist. Gratitude will fill your heart with peace, but dependency will only leave it empty. Choose gratitude, not dependence, and you will never lose yourself again. There comes a moment in life when you realize that no one is coming to rescue you. No hero will suddenly appear to pull you out of the darkness. No savior will carry your burdens away. No one else can fight your battles for you. And that moment, though it feels lonely, is the beginning of true strength. Because instead of waiting for light from the outside, you begin to create it from within. You stop depending on others to ignite your hope, and you start becoming your own source of light. Being your own light does not mean you never feel weak or broken. It means you refuse to let the darkness consume you. It means that even when everything around you falls apart, you find a way to hold yourself together. You tell yourself, I will rise again, even when your heart whispers, I can't. This light is not given to you by others. It is built by your resilience, your courage, and your faith in your own strength. The more you practice turning inward for hope, the brighter that light grows. Too often, we hand over our happiness to others. We say, if they love me, I'll be happy. If they support me, I'll feel strong. If they believe in me, I'll keep going. But what happens when they don't? What happens when love fades, support is absent, and belief is nowhere to be found? If your light depends on someone else's flame, then you will be left in darkness the moment they walk away. But when you carry your own flame, no one can extinguish it. People may leave, situations may change, but your light will remain. Becoming your own source of light is not selfish, it is necessary. When you learn to shine for yourself, you also begin to shine for others. You become the person who inspires, who uplifts, who gives hope, not by depending on others, but by showing them what it means to stand strong. Your strength becomes a lantern for someone else lost in their darkness. And isn't that the most beautiful thing? That by saving yourself, you might unknowingly save others too. Of course, there will be days when your light flickers. Days when you feel too tired to keep going, when doubt tries to put out your flame. But remember, even the smallest light is enough to shatter the heaviest darkness. Even a candle can guide someone through the night. Never underestimate the power of the light you carry inside. It does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be yours. So stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop depending on others to be your source of strength. Be the rescuer of your own soul, the comforter of your own pain, the encourager of your own dreams. Be your own light, and when you do, you will not only walk your own path with confidence, you will also illuminate the way for others who are still searching for theirs.